Is Amy. I'm your hidden consumer expert, and today I want to talk about numbers because that's my favorite part of what I do. If I could read numbers all day long, I absolutely would because you can find so much information. So, over the weekend, I had a post about a current client who we've been working on their website for about 6 months, and I decided to go back and look at what was happening on their website number wise before I started, and then compared to when I've jumped in to kind of see the difference in the type of traffic coming in, but the engagement rate as well. Because if I'm doing my thing right, the numbers are going to show it. And I wanted to see how that compared to how people before had done it. It's a great exercise to just find out what's the health of a website and what did I need to do to take this website to the next level. Turns out I'm doing a lot of stuff well. So I'm going to jump in and let's just talk about what this means because there's a lot of data on here, which I probably didn't need to do. But it's one of those things where I want to make sure people have the information to kind of see the big picture when it comes to your data. So the big thing here is total organic traffic. Organic traffic is really what I focus on to bring into websites, but it's not about bringing the world. I want specific people who are going to want your business. And I can tell that by not necessarily the number of people that come to the website, but by the engagement rate. So if you notice, we had a pretty big difference between me working on the website and the person before me, right? 4,000 versus 2,400. But that's not the full story. So if you look here where we talk about total organic engagement rate, this is how many people of those were actually engaged on the website. So in first quarter of 2024, I had 60% of organic traffic engaged and working on that website, which was a total of 1,440 people. So the fact that I brought in 2,400 doesn't really mean a whole lot because when you look at that, the bigger number of it's 1,400 people were engaged. Here's the thing, the quarter before, so in 2023, 4,000 people had come to this website organically, but only 16% engaged on the website. That means only 640 people actually had potential for this client to sell to. So the question I always pose is, would you rather have an audience who is looking for you and ready to buy, or do you want the passerbys who are window shopping? Because the 4,000 people who came to that website were window shopping. They didn't really know if they wanted that. It wasn't really this thing, but they went there. And only 640 kind of dug in a little bit more. That's not a really good outcome if you're looking to increase your sales and your conversion rate. So with the 60%, we had 1,440 people that came in first quarter just because they were looking for that specific type of product she sells. And that's the difference. You now have that many more chances. She's doubled her ability to sell in one quarter just based on bringing in qualified traffic that is engaged. Now, what I don't have on here is that engagement time. So her engagement time for first quarter was close to 3 minutes. And the top pages the top page I look at primarily because I know that in her business, this one page is key. She had a 4-minute engagement rate. So there's a bigger picture here. But the big point is that we have to track website data to figure out, are we reaching everybody we can? I have another client that I did this work for. I increased her engagement rate by 608% in 1 year. Her literal quote to me is, my website runs itself. I mean, that's not great business for me because retainer, I would like to have retainer clients. But the reality is the work we're doing, that if that's all you're looking for, is we can make it happen. And for her, it worked great. The website runs itself. So lovely things can happen. Retainers, we get a little bit more out of that and we can make that stretch bigger. So there's always a reason to keep going. But I always want to make sure my clients are set up. And if they feel the need that they need to be done so they can move on to their next project, I give them that space. So this is the key though. Know your numbers. Very, very few people track their website data. So websites get lost in the vastness of what is the internet. So if you can't be found and you're not getting found by the client who wants to buy from you, what's the point of a website? The other side is most websites are actually more for referral traffic. I work with a lot of coaches and consultants where they're not looking for organic, but they send people there who are referred to them. But if your website doesn't speak to them either, your website, again, isn't doing its job. So the whole point is I make sure your website earns its keep, right? Like it needs to do its job. Like you're paying at least $300 a year for your website minimum. So that is, you need to make sure that it's bringing in enough revenue to counteract what you're putting out, because your website is a marketing tool and it needs to be used fully. So if you're curious about how I do this, I start all of this with an assessment of your website. I look at the front end, I'm going to look at the back end, I'm going to look at your content and copy, I'm going to analyze your Google Analytics numbers. If you do not have Google Analytics set up, I do that as part of the assessment. I believe so much that everyone should have a way to track their website data that I will add that in at no additional fee. It's still the same fee for everybody. So I will be more than happy to get that set up for you, as well as talking to you about what your marketing strategy for your website should look like, and then how I can help you achieve those numbers if you wish to continue to work with me. All of these links are going to be in the chat as well. Another quick thing here is my book. I am so excited. We're going into dev edits. I have a couple of things I need to tweak. My saves and things didn't quite work out in WordPress or in Word. So I've got to go back and make a few tweaks, but we have begun the process of getting in line for dev edits. Our launch date has been pushed back to March for a very good reason. I'll be announcing that later, and my newsletter people, you will find out first and foremost. So if you haven't signed up for book updates to find out the latest and greatest news and some of those behind the scene things about writing a book and working with a publisher and working with an editing team, sign up. Let me tell you all the fun stuff that's going on. The other fun thing going on is if you just want to connect with me, see what I'm doing, connect with me on LinkedIn, which you can find that on my link tree with all my other information that I have available. So if you have questions though about the health of your website, message me, let's chat, let's get you on the schedule, and let's really see what we can do to work together to make sure your website is earning its keep and it's your passive salesperson. Above all else, it should do sales for you without you having to put a lot of effort into it. If you get it done right the first time, you're set. So have a great rest of your day.